So as I was going through what to figure out what to talk about, I kind of just stumbled across some VHS tapes. So yeah, I know, not super exciting, but it will lead to the ones that kind of mattered. But we'll start with the obvious ones, right? Here are my original first edition PAL videos. Everybody's seen this one. Yeah, I got one shot, so a second, maybe just over a second worth of footage. A little quick little screen grab of me smiling, looking off in the distance, and then doing a really, 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 really pathetic airwalk. Yeah, it's about 2 feet out, and my feet are just like an inch away from the board. But if you look really carefully at that 1 second, you can see my feet are actually off the board. Although, Stacy Peralta told me, I think he was just being kind to me. He said he took this to Japan and showed it to the people over there, the distributors and whatnot. And he said that the Japanese distributors and shop guys were amazed at the airwalk of Tony and I taking our feet off. Of course, Tony taking his feet completely off, way off the board. Mine was really bad. But he lumped me in with that. Yeah, they loved you guys doing the airwalks. And so yeah, it's in there. He made me feel good. We got one shot. Although what's really funny is that, so we filmed, that at that point with Tony, that segment, and we knew it was going to be pretty much Tony's segment. Although Stedham, of course, gets a lot of good footage there because he was still riding for him. But Kevin Staub and I, we knew that it was going to be pretty much the Tony show. And, we're doing our best. We're trying to get in there. We're trying to make stuff. And there's some things that did end up in the DVD with the extra footage, the bonus footage, including the worst frontside boneless one ever caught on film by yours truly. So if you have the DVD with the bonus footage, perfect example of how not to do a frontside boneless one. And that's the reason I stopped doing them, because mine were so bad. And now it's forever on digital. Anyway, but so Kevin and I, we're in the background, and they're mostly filming Tony, and we got a little frustrated, and so we started to think, well, we're just not going to make the video at all. So what we did was every time Tony would come up on the wall in front of us, Kevin and I would put our hands out and point at Tony. So if you watch Tony's segment and you watch the side frame, you can see Kevin and I doing this. Pointing at Tony from out of frame. Because that way at least our hands will be in the video. That's what we thought. Anyway, so here we go. Bones Brigade video show 1. Future Primitive. This one, of course, I have less than 1 second. Because we filmed at Lance Mountain's ramp. So I have a judo air over the channel and Lance Mountain's ramp. And but I can't even say that I made the one that's in the video. I kid you not. I feel like it did not make a single trick filming this video. I was so stressed out and so I need to get in the video. I need to do some stuff. And I choked. I could not make a single thing. And so there is a judo air in there over the channel. But the immortal words of Stacy Peralta that no skateboarder ever wants to hear when he's filming you. Hey man, I don't think we have anything we can use. Boo! So, yeah, there we go. Although I get second billing because, alphabetical. But anyway. But then, my claim to fame, the search for Animal Chin. I got a couple of minutes of footage, which really, in a 1 hour video, 2 minutes of screen time is a lot. For these guys. So the Bakersfield segment, and actually Stacy pulled me aside when we were filming this video, and he said, this segment is yours, so do whatever you want to do. So he assured me that the Bakersfield Chris Borst ramp section, he said he was going to highlight me, and he did. And I'm very thankful for Stacy for doing that for me and putting up with the drama behind the scenes, yada yada yada. We won't go into that. But anyway, yes, search for Animal Chin. So there's my original PAL videos. Then I found these. This one is the tracker video, the Brotherhood, and so this one, of course, is a bunch of board companies. Tony gets the center shot right there, but then here we are, Keith Lenhar from the East Coast, and also all around great tracker team guy, taking care of us, make sure we had product. Thanks, Grant. I know, but Tony can play the violin. I can't play the violin. Who else is on here? Oh, Steve Size. We got Steve Size up there. Oh, I'm going to turn it over here. This is Britt Parrott. A few weeks ago, he surprised me and came by my work, and so I posted on Instagram a picture of Britt and I. So there's Britt Parrott there. I not recognize some of these. Oh, of course, Brian Ridgway, though. My best man at my wedding, but also team manager, tracker team manager, but kind of more important than that, because he was in on the early days on the East Coast and making sure everybody got coverage and was known, and he kind of helped a lot of that back East stuff and Midwest stuff. So yes, Brian Ridgway, very important. Who's on the back here? Neil Blender and Mike McGill and Jim Gray. And there's me, Moody in the dark. This was actually from a photo shoot. They did a little article on me about my music. So this was taken in my music room. I think O took that photo. But yeah, so behind me, you can't see it. There's all my guitars and amps and blah, 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 blah. Oh, Omar Hassan. Woo! So there's lots of people on here. Marty Jimenez, one of the nicest people in the world right there. So the Brotherhood, I don't know if Tracker made more than one video as a Tracker video, but I'm on here. And somebody dug up a clip that ended up as one of the Instagram stories of me and Joe Johnson sitting kind of next to each other at Tony's house in Fallbrook. And Joe had put this planter on top of his helmet. So he's sitting there with a planter on his helmet. And Brian Ridgway asked me, well, how long have you ridden for Tracker? And I say, well, I've ridden for Tracker for about 85 years. It seemed like 8 years seemed like 85 years at that time. But anyway, that's circulating around on the Instagram there somewhere. So there's that. The companion to that would be this. I think this was just for a trade show. A1 Meets, cult follower from, well, it says 91, but most of it's filmed in 1990, which just means why I got in here. But it's a little 14-minute promo video of just the team riders. And A1 Meets, for people who might not know, was a wheel company under the Tracker umbrella. And I don't have any single wheels, but I have on this board here, that was my good friend Sharon Harrison's board. Somebody set this up for her, and it has A1 Meets wheels on it. A1 Meets Kings, 61 tall. And you can kind of see the logo on the inside of the wheel. But yeah, so Lester and I ended up riding for the A1 Meets team because when Lester... we had a wheel for a short time for the House of Kasai, but we wanted a bigger wheel. We wanted like a Rat Bones wheel with rounded edges, conical edges, like that instead of square like the Rat Bones. So we made a big wheel. It was like 60, it was a little cube. And our wheel for the House of Kasai came out just in time for everybody in the world to want narrower wheels. So they went narrower wheels and taller for a short time. Probably just like 90 and 91, people were riding 61 or 63 millimeter tall wheels. These are 61s. But then, of course, not long after that, wheels started shrinking rapidly until they were about the size of a quarter. Well, not that small. but they got small enough that people referred to them as bearing sleeves because they were really small for lower center of gravity and lightweight, so you could flip. And sadly, that time period, because of like being super technical, everything was really slow and low because they're doing crazy flip things. And yeah, sure, that kind of led to other things, but little wheels now, not a fan. It's that era, actually, 92 maybe, 91, 92. I remember seeing kids in Encinitas riding down the Highway 101 with those teeny little wheels and giant pants. And I kid you not, they were going downhill and the wheels are so small and inefficient, they were pushing to go downhill. Yeah. End of rant. Okay. Kind of a little sidetrack here. This, although I don't have the video that had graphics, when I was in Japan with Stevie and Lance, I grabbed a couple of VHS things. And so here's one that kind of helped me kind of discover the anime thing. And we ended up with Captain Harlock. But the style, it's mostly about the style of the anime that I wanted to capture with my graphics. Although sort of, yeah, So anyway, I still have this one. I don't have the one that I actually borrowed graphic from, but there's that. And not much to see here, but this is a video. They took me to this video that had a bunch of bootleg concerts, and this is the David Lee Roth band with Steve Vai and Billy Sheehan on bass. All right, so all that leads up to a couple of films here that are important to me. I didn't have these on VHS then, but back in about 1980, home box office, HBO, showed these movies, and I watched them over and over and over and over again when they were on, because you could look at the guide and it would tell you what time of day it was going to be on. So the first one would be Freewheelin'. And this version was released in '88. Santa Cruz put it out. So Freewheelin' stars Stacy Peralta. And so he's still in his Zephyr Z-Boys days. And he's riding his orange Zephyr board. And so it's a journey of him like getting through high school, working at the old Venice noodle company, and wanting to get out of Dodge, wanting to get out of town. And so this film crew follows him around, and then he goes on a trip with Tom Sims and others. But there's also footage of Mike Weed and Stacy skating a backyard pool, like apparently was in Escondido, not too far from here. But this was one of the first things that allowed me to see skateboarding in motion, because up until then it was just the magazines for me in '80. Yeah. So Stacy hates this film. He thinks it's really cheesy, and I don't agree, because there's lots of great footage of him skating, the LA banks at Kentner and whatnot, at Bellagio, and then I don't know what they called it, the bird bath or something at Escondido Bowl. Really famous footage of Stacy doing extended bursts in all orange, and then he runs into somebody in slow motion in this film. But yes, so seeing Stacy Peralta in motion, this was really important for me. So Stacy, I know you're not a fan, but one of my favorite parts is the end of the movie where he gets a call from an Australian promoter and he skates into work, and it's just a headshot of him saying, "Mr. So-and-so, I quit." And then he goes off to Australia and becomes a famous skateboarder. Just like reality. And then the other one, as cheesy as goes, cheesy, Skateboard the movie. And, people at the time hated it because they're like, "Oh my God, you're making skateboarding look so cheesy." But for somebody like me that could barely make it down the street, and I was really excited when I learned how to make it off a curb, again, to see skateboarding in motion, and at the time, modern skateboarding, with Tony Alva, Tony Blue Tile, and others, but then there's that great footage of everybody at, oh gosh, is it Skatopia? Yeah, well they're all kind of slow motion one hits, but there's a bunch of really famous people in there. Wally Inouye's in there, and Jim Muir and gosh, so many others. Yeah, so people hated it, but for somebody like me, this is what, again, skateboarding in motion, it made me want to be a skateboarder. So yeah, important. Cheesy, yes. Bad acting, yes. But nonetheless, skateboarding, and then it got me going. Yeah. So yeah, I will do this for my thumbnail.